Testing, testing. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Marcus Speaks. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Marcus Speaks Live, the very podcast that gives you almost all trending topics that's going on online, as well as political things, satire, comedy, all kinds of stuff. Before we start, I just want to say something real fast. On Fridays, I do a game stream. It's a game streaming show where you watch me play some of my favorite games and certain select few of new releases. That comes on Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The latest that you can expect me from the initial time I start is an hour after. Just in case if I'm late or something, always come in maybe like an hour late if I'm late, so just let you guys know. Also, if you could, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe if you're new here. All right, and don't be scared, man. Let me know some stuff in the chat about the things that I'll be talking about tonight. If you saw the thumbnail, that is the stuff that I will be talking about. As well, I have a pre-show that I do before I start the initial show. The initial show is usually usually just me just talking about certain topics that are going on that I don't include in the initial show. So if you guys would like to if you guys don't want to be here for that, I'll suggest you come back within the next 40 minutes or so. But I have some good topics that I want to talk about, so I suggest you to stay. All right. Also, let me get through some promotions before we continue. So, scrolling tick right there, the space that starts everything over at Follow Me. Please read that. That is for you, as well as pay attention to the lower third here. So you can subscribe to both of my YouTube channels. I have Marcus Speaks Play and Marcus Speaks. Marcus Speaks being my first channel, my very baby. That streams Marcus Speaks play, gameplay as well. But if you just are looking for that, that's what that channel is for. I suggest you subscribe. You can hit those links in the description box below. They are there. So if you guys want to, get to them, they're right there. Also, I'm on Twitch as well on Friday, streaming live. I was doing the podcast there, but the way I structure my show, I can only have it here. So please join me over there on Twitch at Marcus Speaks Productions. Everything that you see here, you can see there. But the only thing different about Twitch is that you only see two videos. My video that I did yesterday and the one that I did the week before, because they have a 7-day hold on each video. So once 7 days is up, one of the videos go away, and then it's only one video sitting there. There's two there now. There should be two there now, so you should be able to go and watch both streams. If you want to come up here and talk to me, the link is pinned in the chat right now. So if you want to come up and talk to me about any of the topics that I present tonight, you guys can come up and talk to me. But I have 3 rules with that, so please pay attention. Rule number 1 is you must be on camera, all right, at all times. I suggest you, if you don't want to be on camera, listen to this second part. Rule number 2, if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine. I understand. But you won't be shown to the public. But I'll say this, you have to be on camera here on the backstage. I have to know who I'm talking to. I have to see who I'm talking to. There's a private chat back here. You guys can let me know by your name. And if you want me to show you, if you do not want me to show you, please let me know. Do not make it a conversation. Just have your name pinned and let me know if you want to be shown or not. And the very last rule is this. Please silence all background noise. Please make sure that your TV isn't on if you're watching me from there, or if you're watching me from your phone. Please pause the video before coming up here so you can come and talk to me, all right? All that extra added noise in the background, it doesn't really help myself nor you or the audience hear what you're saying. So I suggest you turn that off in the background. And the very last final thing that I have is, please like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and share to your respected social medias at all times. Well, that's it for the promotions. I just want to go over some things first as far as like the what the show has. I will be talking about tonight this whole Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears situation. This is a continuing story that I did last week involving Ari Spears. But this week, since more of the onus of some of the stuff was put on Tiffany is of the topic of today. Also, I have some things to talk to you guys about Black Lives Matter. Something's going on within the ranks, and it's crazy over there. So I want to talk to you guys about that tonight. But the overview tonight for the pre-show, I'll be talking about Stacey Dash and her cries for DMX. Also, Queen Elizabeth had just died over Friday or Thursday, and I'll be talking about that, as well as Baltimore City dealing with contaminated water. Those are the first 3 topics in the pre-show that I will be talking to you guys about before we get into the whole mess of this whole Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears situation. But before I do that, if you've ever watched this show, you know that I love to further my point with videos. The way that happens is that I structure the way I say things around some videos that I have handpicked to show you guys tonight about the topics that I have for you guys tonight. So the way that works is fair use. Fair use is not only a YouTube policy, it's also the law. So the way that I do that is I'll let you guys know exactly what fair use is, and this is what fair use is. Hello, everyone. I'm going to tell you about fair use. It's the law. Warning: federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. All right. So that is fair use. So, like I said, I'll be talking about a couple topics before the show starts, waiting for people to get in here. But for the ones who are watching, uh, this viral video came up last week, I believe, when and it's made its rounds all over social media. So, actress Stacey Dash hopped up on her TikTok to to mourn over the late rapper DMX. So Stacey Dash, she let us know how ashamed she was of not knowing that DMX has passed away. So, a lot of people were looking at this video in an entire different light, I should say, because they feel as though that Stacey has changed over the years, I should say. So this is Stacey Dash, and this is her mourning for the late rapper DMX. All right, so it's a lot to take away from that. So some people are saying that how the hell did Stacey Dash not know that DMX passed away? Well, you gotta look at it like this. Stacey Dash, although she hasn't really been in the limelight like she was back in the early and mid 90s, in 80s, I would say, like late 80s, because if you guys don't know, Stacey Dash has been acting since like 85, 84 or so, I believe. Uh, my first sight of Stacey Dash was her being on an episode of The Cosby Show. She played one of, if it wasn't Vanessa's friends, it was Denise. She was one of Denise's friends, and her character was she was a teen that was pregnant. That was her. That was her role on the show, and she wanted Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable's help, formerly known as Dr. Cosby. So who knows what happened there. But anywho, so she spoke on, if you guys were paying attention, she said that she was 6 years sober. Now, a lot of you guys are probably wondering, well, did she do drugs at all? Well, yes, she did. And I will be playing something else after I give you this this little tidbit of information. Stacey Dash was an addict at one point, so it happened for several years. She got clean, I believe she said she got a surgery done. They prescribed her Vicodin or Percocet, and she became addicted all over again from opioids. So, now a lot of people saying, well, how didn't she know that, that DMX had died? Well, I would say this. The reason why she probably didn't know is because she probably doesn't pay much attention maybe to the news or to current events and stuff like that. She's probably taking things one day at a time because she is a sober person, so a lot of things will miss her. But with that being said, it's a possibility that the reason why she didn't know is because she probably doesn't really care all that much. Just to say, just to say it, she probably didn't know. And it's fine, she, she's living her life doing the things that she likes to do, so she probably wouldn't know. But this next video that I have for you guys is her explaining on an episode of Dr. Oz of her addiction. And here we go.
How much money were you spending on drugs a month? Do you even know?
No, I'd say about 5 to 10 grand.
So how bad did this addiction get?
I was taking 18 to 20 pills a day.
18 to 20?
And no one knew. No one knew.
Stacey Dash opens up about her battle with addiction, past traumas, and her road to recovery.
I thought, you know what? I'm going to let people know what I've been through, tell the truth about my life.
On Thursday's episode of the Dr. Oz Show, the 54-year-old actress gets candid about her past, claiming that both her parents were addicts. Dash says she first tried drugs when she was 8 years old, and when she was 16, her mom gave her her first line of cocaine.
Both my parents were drug addicts. My father was a heroin addict. My mother, I don't know if she did heroin. I know she smoked crack and did a lot of coke.
It's a topic the actress opened up to ET about back in 2016 while promoting her book, There Goes My Social Life, From Clueless to Conservative.
There are so many kids who, when they see their parents in that struggle, it's like that fork in the road. It either scares you straight or it leads you down the same path. And it led you down the same path.
For a little while. Yeah. Until I had my son.
Dash also says trauma in her life happened early, telling Dr. Oz she was molested when she was 4.
I didn't really remember until I was 17 when I tried to kill myself. It was at that time that I remembered that happened to me, and I had already been very angry. I was very angry. I became angry at, I'd say, around the age of 10 or 11, which is when my mother finally left my father. Even though my home was unstable and my father was a heroin addict, I knew he loved me. He just couldn't beat it. He couldn't overcome the addiction.
Dash adds that she ran away from home and would party, and says she was in an abusive relationship in her early 20s.
I mean, he would beat me so bad that I couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. I couldn't walk.
What did those abusive relationships teach you?
That I didn't value myself. That I need to value myself.
Later on, Dash got sober, but after 20 years clean, she says she relapsed when she was prescribed Vicodin to help with her painful fibroid cysts and became addicted.
I'm not blaming the doctors at all because it was my choice to take more. It was my choice to take that extra one even though I wasn't in pain. I chose to do that because the Vicodin filled that hole inside of me. It filled that anger. It calmed that anger down. It slowed my brain down. It gave me the ease so that I could deal with life.
At one point, the Clueless star said she was taking 18 to 20 pills a day, but no one knew. adding that her addiction caused her to lose everything.
How much money were you spending on drugs a month? Do you even know?
No, I'd say about 5 to 10 grand.
As for what stopped her,
I almost died. My kidneys were so infected that my blood was septic.
Oh.
And my organs were shutting down. So I got rushed to the hospital.
Oh my goodness.
And I had to have a full blood transfusion. And I was in there for 3 weeks, and by the grace and mercy of God, I lived.
After she left the hospital, the actress says she continued to abuse drugs before entering a rehab facility.
It wasn't until the last 10 days that I finally said, oh snap, I'm an addict.
Today, Dash is 5 years sober.
Greatest blessing is that not only have I been able to be honest with myself and become a better person, I've been able to understand my parents and that they did love me and that they were doing the best they could and they were just sick. They were addicted.
The former Fox News commentator now credits her faith for helping her get sober and hopes that by sharing her story, she can help people battling similar demons.
There is no shame in being an addict. There is no shame in getting help, because that's what we need. And for people who are not addicts, I would ask them to please look at people with more compassion and empathy, understanding, because they need help. They need help, can't do it on their own.
All right. So you got her story. And her story was basically, it's a cautionary tale in a way, because she, like most people, you know, they go through a certain ordeal in their life that they can't seem to cope with. And with that coping mechanism, they turn to, you know, drugs. Now, it's not really a practice that people really shouldn't take up as far as medicating yourself. You should try, and I say this with all due respect to Stacy, you guys should try your best with, if you are going through something in your life that you can't cope with, you can't comprehend, you can't manage yourself, you should go and seek help. And like I said earlier, I saw a lot of people with the first video basically going off of how she looked. She basically saying that she seemed lighter than usual. Or they were saying, well, how the hell didn't she not know that DMX was dead? Well, hell, you know, people have their own schisms and their own lives to go through that themselves. It's hard to kind of keep up with some of the things if they're not right there in your face, like, i.e., the Queen of England. The Queen of England died Thursday. It's a big hoopla because she is the queen, and you know, it's kind of, in a way, some people may not know, or some people may not even care, because, you know, certain things within, you know, the queen's reign, you know, people may not know that she died. So with the whole Stacey Dash thing, I hope that, you know, she stays sober, she stays good, she stays I don't know, she stays current on all current events, because, you know, that's what a lot of things people were basically making fun of her about was, her not knowing and her skin color. But like I was saying about the Queen has passed away after 70, I think they said 72 years on the throne. And or 71 years, between 71 72 years of her being on the throne of the British Empire, some would say. Before we get into the article that I have here by Reuters, we'll get into some of her legacy and her life and what she's been throughout the 70 plus years she was on the throne of England. Here we go.
Her legacy will loom large in the pages of British history and in the story of our world. Those are some of President Joe Biden's words on the passing of Queen Elizabeth.
In Paris, the Eiffel Tower went dark at the stroke of midnight in tribute to the Queen. But the loss may be hardest felt in the heart of London tonight. CBS correspondent Ian Lee joins us now from outside Buckingham Palace. Good morning to you, Ian. Can you tell us a little?
That's not me. That's the guy who's at the Buckingham Palace. That's his sound. So let's continue.
More about the Queen's legacy.
Yeah, Amelia, if you could sum up the Queen's legacy in one word, it probably would be duty. And that's because on Tuesday, she still performed the functions of the monarch. She appointed the new prime minister, and that's the last time we saw a picture of her, and she still had that twinkle in her eye. And so, for 70 years, she was the monarch of the United Kingdom, and so people look to her for stability, and that's something that a lot of people have talked about, that she helped bring England and the UK into this modern world. And so she is going to be sorely missed by so many people here. Yes, they expected that the Queen was going to pass eventually and probably soon, but it still came at a bit of a shock. And just to kind of give you an idea, you can probably hear this machine right next to me. They're getting the city ready. They're hanging up flags right now. So tomorrow, when the sun rises, the city is in perfect mourning.
Ian, if you can hear me, there's so much history and there's rules and there's traditions when it comes to the monarchy. What happens next? I mean, they haven't had to run this play for 70 years.
That's right, and they have a code name for it. It's called London Bridge, and there's a lot. Everything is choreographed. Everything is known down to the very minute. They don't really share that with us, but they do have a plan. The Queen is going to be in Scotland for a few days, lying in state there before being brought down here in London. That's where she will then go to Westminster Hall from Buckingham Palace, and that's where she's going to lie in state. And we're expecting tens and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people trying to catch a glimpse of her. For many people, the only monarch that they've ever known. Prince Charles, or now King Charles, sorry, so used to that, he is hitting the ground running. He doesn't really get much time to mourn his mother. He's back in London tomorrow. He's going to be meeting with the Prime Minister. He's also going to start those funeral preparations, as well as, and this is going to be crucial, he's going to address the nation for the first time as king. This is a nation that is mourning, and so he has that huge legacy to try to fill, and so tomorrow is really day one of doing that.
Ian Lee, thanks for staying up late and fighting through the equipment nearby. We appreciate it. We're going to have our continuing coverage on the aftermath of Queen Elizabeth's death. Tomorrow, a history professor will join the WCCO morning team to discuss the Queen's historic reign and then look ahead to the coronation of King Charles III. So join us tomorrow, That'll happen at 6 a.m.
Happy Labor Day and welcome to WMRT.
All right. So, the Queen has died. So, Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch, the nation's figurehead in a towering presence on the world stage for 7 decades, died peacefully at her home in Scotland on Thursday, aged 96. The death of my beloved mother, Her Majesty, the Queen, is a moment of the greatest sadness for me and all members of my family. The new king, her eldest son, Charles, said, I know her loss will be deeply felt throughout the country, the realms, and the Commonwealth, and by countless people around the world, the 73-year-old said in a statement. News that the Queen's health was deteriorating emerged shortly after midday on Thursday, when her doctors said she was under medical supervision, prompting her family to rush to uh, Balmoral Castle in Scotland to be by her side. Thousands gathered outside Buckingham Palace in central London, and there was a stunned silence when the flag was lowered to half mast. The crowd shrugged to surged. I said shrugged. Surged to the gates at the notice announcing the death of the family monarch most Britons have ever known was attached to the black iron gates. Royal officials said King Charles III and his wife Camilla, the Queen Consort, would remain at Balmoral before returning to London on Friday, when Charles is expected to address the nation and meet Prime Minister Liz Truss. Details on the funeral have not been confirmed. On Elizabeth's death, Charles automatically became monarch of the United Kingdom and the head of state of 14 other realms, including Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. So, we now have a king now. Well, I won't say we as the United States, but in some way I will say we, because simply the Queen didn't have, well, the British Kingdom really doesn't have any hold on the United States, but we still in a way are, you know, England, like we're still part of Great Britain in a way, if you look at it. A huge shock to the nation. I'm gonna read all of this. I have like three other sections on this. I won't read all of it. So the Queen, whose husband died last year, had been suffering from what Buckingham Palace had called episodic mobility problems since the end of last year, forcing her to withdraw from nearly all of her public engagements. Her last official duty came only on Tuesday, when she appointed Truss Prime Minister, the 15th of her reign. The death of Her Majesty, the Queen, is a huge shock to the nation and the world, Truss said outside of her Downing Street office, where the flag, like those at Royal Palace and government buildings across Britain, was lowered. Her legacy will loom large in the pages of Britain history and in the story of our world. U.S. President, hold up, y'all. That's not the right one. That's not the right one either. Hold up, y'all. Her legacy will loom large in the pages of our. Okay, so U.S. President Joe Biden said in a statement, he ordered flags at the White House to be flown at half mast in Paris. The mayor announced the lights of the Eiffel Tower would be turned off in honor of her passing. In Brazil, the Christ Redeemer statue was illuminated with the colors of the Union Jack, which is the red, white, and blue, and the government declared 3 days of mourning, and the United Nations General Assembly and the Security Council both stood for a moment of silence. Even Russian President Vladimir Putin, whose country relations with Britain have plummeted over the war in Ukraine, extended his condolences, calling it an irreparable loss. So that's that section. I'll read a little bit of this. Let's see. Elizabeth became monarch at a time when Britain still retained much of its old empire. It was emerging from the ravages of World War II, with food rationing still in force, and class and privilege still dominate in society. Winston Churchill was Britain's prime minister at the time. Joseph Stalin led the Soviet Union, and the Korean War was raging. Her own family's tribulations, most notably the divorce of Charles and his late first wife, Diana, were played out in full public glare, while remaining an enduring symbol of stability and continuity for Britons at a time of relative national economic decline. Elizabeth also tried to adapt the ancient institution of monarchy to the demands of the modern era. She has managed to modernize and evolve the monarchy like no other. Her grandson, Prince William, who is now heir to the throne, said in a 2012 documentary. So Prince William, because Prince Charles is 72, he won't be there for long. So we really should be preparing for Prince William, because Prince William, I think, is in his late 30s or so, maybe, and he has the rest of his life for that. But after that, his eldest son, I forgot what his eldest son is called. His name, I said called. He'll be king over Britain for the rest of his life after his father passes. So, I have one more section on this, and then we'll get into the Baltimore water crisis. So, Elizabeth was the 40th monarch in a royal line that followed Norman King William the Conqueror, who claimed the English throne in 1066 after defeating Anglo-Saxon ruler Harold II at the Battle of Hastings. Her long reign meant she repeatedly broke records for Britain's rulers. When she surpassed the more than 63 years her great-grandmother Queen Victoria spent on the throne, she said it was not a landmark to which she had ever aspired. Inevitability, a long life can pass by many milestones. My own is no exception, she said. Her marriage to Prince Philip, which is I believe is her cousin, lasted 73 years until his death in April 2021, and they had 4 children: Charles, Anne, Andrew, and Edward. She never gave a media interview, and critics said she came across as distant and aloof. But for the vast majority of her subjects, she was a figure who commanded respect and admiration. Her death marks the end of an era when people around the world spoke of the Queen. They meant our Queen. Former Prime Minister John Major said, "That was the status she had in every part of the world. It was truly remarkable. At her death, the Queen was head of state for not only the United Kingdom, but also Australia, the Bahamas, Belize, Canada, Grenada, Jamaica, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, and Nevis. Tuvalu, the Solomon Islands, St. Vincent, and Grenadines, and Antigua, Barbuda. I guess is how you say it. As the role of her monarchy changes, we expect this can be an opportunity to advance discussion of reparations for our reign, said Nambia Hall Campbell, a 44-year-old academic who chairs the Bahamas National Reparations Committee, asked in a radio interview if the Queen's death took Australia closer to being a republic. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said it was not the time to talk about it. So, damn, a lot of people trying to jump ship from the British monarchy and rulership. But who knows? Who knows if Jamaica and all these other countries are gonna become their own respected republics within time from the Queen dying. But we'll see within the next couple years what happens. Maybe, just maybe, they will. Maybe all of them. But well, I'm pretty sure the ones who want to stay in the monarchy will stay. So, but I believe Jamaica and all the Bahamas and all the Caribbean islands, I believe they should try to become their own republics if they are underneath of the reign of the United Kingdom. But if not, no, they should try for it. Hell, Jamaica helped Haiti after their succession of becoming a independent country after, was it 1904 or something like that, or 1804? So yeah, help them, shit. But moving on. Let's get into this Baltimore water crisis thing. So, Baltimore is dealing with a water crisis right now. It's happened ever since, I believe, last week sometime. So, what's happening right now is that they're dealing with E. coli in their water system. So, I'll have was it WBAL? Oh, WMAR tell you what's exactly happening.
At 6, I'm Kendall Green.
And I'm Brittany Werner. We start tonight with the health alerts.
Don't drink the water. That's what community members of Harlem Park are being told after bacteria was discovered in the water. WMRT News' Ashley McDowell has more.
The Department of Public Works found coliform and E. coli bacteria in the water of 2 police stations in Sandtown, Winchester, and 1 firehouse in Harlem Park. Community members were notified by Twitter Monday morning. Soon after, DPW officials went door to door giving notice.
From what I gathered, they asked us not to bathe and not to drink the water, and if you do, to boil the water before you use it for anything.
DPW says they are continuously flushing the system and increasing chlorine in the water to kill bacteria in the city's 9th district.
Residents tell me 1 gallon of water is being provided to each household by the Department of Public Works. But is that enough?
1 gallon, Bob.
1 gallon of water? How the hell does 1 gallon sustain a household of, let's say, 4? What, like, who can divvy up a gallon of water to bathe in, to drink? That's not enough. Like, I understand, it's a hard time, and maybe, the city doesn't have the budget because they didn't factor this in, and it's fine, but it's like, come on, yo. Like, for real, a gallon of water, just 1 gallon of water is going to sustain a family of 4. Let's say that, just a family of 4. Are you high? Come on, Baltimore, you can do better. You making Maryland look bad right now. Like y'all doing. I would say y'all doing too much, but y'all not doing enough right now.
For water, depending on your household size, it's not going to work. Even for a day, it's not going to work. So we need some answers.
Delegate Roxanne Prettyman lives in the area and says she didn't receive a warning, just a phone call from her brother.
My brother called me, told me he heard it on the news, and he sent me a little tidbit on a text. And I said, well, let me ride past the fire station on Lafayette to see what's going on.
She's not the only one without notice. Yes. Zelda Brown says by the time she was told to prepare, it was too late.
Well, this morning when I came out the door, I saw them out here. I said, oh, good, they fixing the water, right? And then they turned around. The guy came and told me to fill my tub up with water, in case I need to get some water. I said, by the time I went to go fill up jugs of water, the water was already turned off.
It is unclear where the bacteria came from, but no symptoms have been reported. CDC says E. coli is bacteria found in the environment, foods, and intestines of humans and animals, saying most strains are harmless, but others can cause sickness. In Harlem Park, Ashley Dowell, WMAR2 News.
DPW sent us this map of where the boil advisory is in effect. They tell us the contamination was discovered during routine testing affecting approximately 1,500 residential and commercial facilities in West Baltimore.
There's been a lot of...
All right, that's coming up on today's show. So, I have this brief article from WMAR Baltimore. So it says, Baltimore city leaders and city health leaders held a press conference Monday night, which was last month, earlier this week. They did it. So to let community members know they are working to get them clean water. Baltimore's Department of Public Works reported E. coli was found in tested water samples in several locations in Harlem Park and Sandtown communities in West Baltimore. Our first concern is the public, said Jason Mitchell, director of the Department of Public Works. DPW started retesting the water for the bacteria earlier this week. And on Monday, it takes about 24 hours for the test to come back. In the meantime, health officials are asking residents impacted to boil water for at least 1 minute to kill the bacteria. The health and safety of our residents are of the utmost importance. Health Department Director Dr. Letitia shit. Her last name's killing me. Hold on. Dizarasa said? Is that how you say it? It's spelled Dizirasa. I guess that's how you say it. Dizarasa. Our key recommendation from a public health standpoint is to boil water for at least 1 minute. We know that boiling water kills bacteria and other viruses. BPW said they take samples from 90 locations across the city, the city month, and a total of 360 samples. Last Friday, 19 samples were taken in one of the locations on Sandtown in Harlem at Fire Engine 8 on West Lafayette tested positive. Then it was confirmed that the police station on North Mount Street and North Carey Street tested positive last Saturday. Officials are investigating the cause. We are surveying and sampling other locations within the impacted zone, but we also are testing locations that tested negative. But we want to retest them. And that work is commencing right now, Mitchell said. Mitchell said DPW is identifying construction sites as possible causes of impact. We are identifying construction sites that may have caused potential impacts to our water system, Mitchell said. We are performing leak detection in the area as well. We are performing. Now, hold on. Before I go on, let's say that there is a leak, right? And the E. coli somehow got into the water system. That means if there is a leak and they're doing leak detections, and we all know that, the pipes are laid underneath of ground, and let's say that there's an open pipe within their sewer system. They did say, well, E. coli arrives in nature in the gut biome of humans and animals, respectively. Then that means this: if there is a leak and their water systems are messed up, right? That means that the that particles in their sewage system, which water lines are probably laid at, that shit particles are leaking into the water system, and that can cause a major health crisis. Which, like they said, some strands, are fine. Other strands can cause major health problems and death at that. So they need to get on this, and they need to stay on this. If they don't have a crew 24 working 24/7 on this, and it's still people not able to take showers or take baths and be able to drink, which I don't even recommend y'all drinking city water. Hell, I don't even drink my own town water. I drink bottled water, Crystal Springs to be exact. But yeah, like this is crazy. Like, this is crazy because you can't have people that's up in age, and even kids. You can't have kids not taking showers or baths every day. Like that is weird for them to give, let's say, a family of 4 a bottle, a jug, or 1 gallon jug of water. What the hell is that doing? Is that for drinking? Because they're basically saying, take the water from the faucet, boil it for at least 1 minute, throw it in your bathtub, and then take a bath, which they probably want you to run some of the city water into that boiling water to kill some more bacteria. But, what is that going to help? Like, in the long run, what is that going to help? Because they need to fix this shit. They need to fix it quick. Like, I don't even live in Baltimore. I'm an hour away, but still, that's bad. Because let's think about all of the businesses in that area. They probably have to shut down, which is going to cause problems with the economy in Baltimore, which also means is that certain businesses may, if this isn't done in a timely fashion, they may have to close down. But think about how much one business can make within a day. Let's say a business, a small mom and pop shop makes, let's say, around like $20,000 a day, right? Now, times that by 7, by them having to shut down, because let's say it's like a small grocery store, or like a corner market or something like that, or like a sandwich spot. Like, you have to use water to clean your utensils, like your knives and stuff, you have to use water and stuff for that. Like, although you can stick those in some boiling water, get them clean, throw some bleach and some dish liquid in there and clean the utensils, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to do that because they pay a water bill every month so they can have clean, drinkable, and usable water every day. So I'm pretty sure these people are going to get sick of this and going to get a jug of water every damn day, if not for the week. Who's that sustaining for a week? Like it's just insane. Like it's insane as hell. So where did I leave off at? All right, I see where I was. We are performing leak detections in the area as well. We are performing live checks and checking chlorine levels as well. Since the announcement of water contamination in Baltimore City, city officials have started distributing water to those impacted and informed residents in the community. The water contamination impacts about 1,500 residents and commercial facilities. DPW said the team is flushing the system and performing leak detections, valve assessments, and increasing the chlorine in the area. Mitchell said in his confident and positive test results are associated with the 3 water treatment plants. At this time, we do not know the source of the contamination, but I can assure you that we are working actively to determine the exact extent of the issue, identify the source, and resume the delivery of clean water to our residents in the impacted areas. Baltimore's Mayor Brandon Scott said, "We understand deeply the concerns of residents, and we want to assure them that their health and well-being are our priority." So, I gotta get to it. 1 second. Here we go. So, this map that they showed on the broadcast. Let me see if I can get it. All right. So, as a precaution, DPW has issued a boil water advisory for residents, businesses, and other facilities in portions of West Baltimore. This advisory affects about 1,500 people in the following areas: north-south, Ridge Avenue to West Franklin Street and east-west, Cary Street to Pulaski Street, and Bolton Hill, Harlem Park neighborhood. So all of this, if you guys are watching, all of that is, if you read the key on the top left hand side there. So red means positive. Red means positive result samples. Green means negative result samples. A solid line means initial impact areas. And the broken black lines means water boiling advisory boundary. And the broken purple lines means county boundaries. So, what they have outlined is the where it's all going on. So it's only one area, which is, it looks like 1505 or 1303 West Lafayette Avenue. So let me get this position out the way. And here we go. So So yeah, all of that, right? So the initial impact area is where you see the solid line and where all that's happening. So it's happening between Baltimore County and Baltimore City. And what's happening is, like they said, there's an E. coli outbreak in the water systems. So what I want to know now is this one of those, or no, let me not say that. Is is the area that is happening in a predominantly black and poverty-stricken area? That's what I want to know. That is taking them so damn long to get this water clean. And what are they trying to do by having that water? Like, what are they actually doing to help it other than more chlorine and testing it? Like, if they're flushing the whole system and they're getting all the bad water out and coming and having new water come in so they can clean it up and make it drinkable and usable, then cool. But this is a red flag. Like, I believe this is a red flag that it took them a day or two to tell the residents not to drink or use the water after they drunk and used the water. Like, that's wild. So the city of Baltimore has noticed city schools of a water quality issue of affecting the Harlem Park neighborhood. To ensure the health and safety of students and out of an abundance of caution, city schools will be provided hand sanitizer for staff and students to use for all hand washing. Staff and students will continue to use bottled water for drinking, and all meals will be prepared off-site for the following schools: Furman Templeton Preparatory Academy, Harlem Park Elementary and Middle School, Bluford Drew Jemison or Jemison STEM Academy West, Frederick Elementary School, Augusta Fells Savage Institute of Visual Arts, and the Career Academy. So, yeah, those are all the affected areas, all the affected streets and neighborhoods that are dealing with this. So I hope Baltimore gets this under control within, I will say, the next few minutes, because these people need their water. So, people, that concludes the pre-show, and hope you guys had some fun with it, because we are getting to the next story, and we're getting into the real show. This isn't the pre-show anymore. So we're going to be dealing with Tiffany Haddish and B.L.M. tonight. So a brief overview of what's going to be going on tonight, what I'm going to be talking about tonight, is Tiffany Haddish breaks her silence, along with Ari Spears also breaks his silence. And Grassroots BLM chapter is suing Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. That is the parent organization to the Grassroots organization that is being sued. So let's get into this Tiffany Haddish thing. So, people, Tiffany Haddish. Let me get to her picture, if I can get to her picture. So, Miss Tiffany Haddish, what is there to say about this skit that is making its rounds around the internet? Now, if you guys haven't seen the video, I'm not showing it here like I said last week. What I forgot to do was I forgot to listen to that portion of my show last week. That's what I forgot to do, because I don't want to contradict anything that I'm going to say that I said last week. So hopefully I'm within the realms of me saying the exact same thing last week, but better with more vigor, I would say. So if you guys don't know, if you guys have been living underneath of a rock, a skit emerged from 2013, if not 2014. A skit reemerged that's had Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish in it, along with two other people by the names of John and Jane Doe. Um, these people are calling for the immediate arrest of both Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears per the lawsuit. And I have the lawsuit on hand. Y'all know how I like showing you guys paperwork. So I'm going to be showing that tonight as well. But we will get into Tiffany Haddish breaking her silence of what she feels is, well, you'll hear it.
There's been a lot of talk about Tiffany Haddish that she had fled to Greece, which we know that's not true. She is here in the United States, probably more than likely in Los Angeles. And there was even a video that came out of her dancing, crip walking and having a good time. So people were like, looks like she's having a good time. She's not addressing these allegations. So she has finally come forward and made a public statement. Now her representatives, her attorneys did make a statement on her behalf. And this is what she posted on her IG. I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. I'm right there with you. Unfortunately, because there is an ongoing legal case, there's very little that I can say right now. But clearly, while the sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all. And I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. I really look forward to being able to share a lot more about this situation as soon as I can. Now, to me, already we kind of know that, so she's taking accountability, but it looks like, Aries Spears, like he's going to be the person that's going to be the fall guy, because I'm just assuming that it's going to come out that maybe he was the one.
Now, before she continues, that's exactly what it's looking like. A lot of people, since Aries Spears went on to the Art of Dialogue, and when he was asked a question if he liked Lizzo's music or not, and he went left and said that, started talking about her looks and stuff like that. I don't feel that Aries should be the fall guy for this, and this is why. Because we don't know who wrote the skit. Some people are saying that Aries wrote the skit. I don't believe he wrote the skit. I believe, or I'll say this. I don't believe he was alone writing the skit. Also, Tiffany is at fault because she provided she provided John and Jane Doe for these skits. So, a lot of us out here are speculating and making false statements when it comes to this whole ordeal. I've seen a lot of people, which this is weird as hell. People are getting Aries Spears' name wrong. They're calling him Ari. I don't know where the hell this is coming from, but if you can't repeat someone's name verbatim out of your mouth and how it's spelled, I don't know what to tell you, because a lot of people who are in, I'm sorry, y'all might call me anti-black or whatever. Look, I don't deal with that type of shit. I'm the blackest motherfucker that you probably will ever meet. So get that straight. But secondly, it's Aries, like the Greek god and like the zodiac sign. Aries. How do you get that shit wrong? Anyway, I just wanted to rant about that because that shit was bothering me. Yeah, I don't believe that people should be putting the onus on Aries Spears because he was the actual one who, in the second in the second skit, because no one's seen the first skit. A lot of people are just saying what other people have been saying, and is that the second skit involves a Subway sandwich, some lewd activity with the Subway sandwich, and the girl at the time was 14 years old. But no one has saw that skit, which is weird because everybody keeps talking about which I said last week. The skit with the little boy is it's wild. It's wild. So man. But to say this, and I believe I said this last week, I hope I said this last week, Aries shouldn't be the one at fault because Tiffany has some sort of dealing with this as well. So I hope when it comes to, if it ever goes through the lawsuit, I hope, well, on the lawsuit, both Aries and Tiffany are spoken of. But the court of public opinion, Aries Spears is the bad guy. Tiffany has nothing to do with this. She's an angel. Corey Holcomb over on Tuesday on his show, the 5150 show, he basically went into how Tiffany isn't to blame. Aries Spears is the reason why all of this is going on because of what he said about Lizzo the week prior, which isn't wrong, but at the same time, this is what we call a shakedown. Exactly what the both lawyers of Aries and Tiffany has been saying. This is a shakedown. This is an extortion attempt. But from whom? Is it from Tiffany? Because Tiffany with the kids are, I believe, their godmother, and then Tiffany and the woman Teresa, I forgot her last name. I think it was Jackson or Johnson or something like that. She is the mother of the kids, and she tried to sue years prior, which I believe it was back in 2018 that she tried to sue, but it kept getting thrown out. So now I believe Teresa is getting her daughter to represent herself in this matter. And I said last week, that's a bad idea. They should go after, let's say, like a law student that's just about to graduate and that needs the work, that needs the practice. They need to try to seek them out to do this either pro bono or pay them whatever that they can or whatever. Because if the young lady, which is 22 now, which was the Jane Doe in when she was 14 in the first skit, which no one has seen, I believe, like I said last week, that if she tries to do that, she will lose because she's going up against seasoned lawyers. Like, these lawyers have been doing this prosecuting thing or criminal trials all their career, if not a piece of their career, but they still have the lawyer experience to how to conduct their statements, their arguments, and stuff like that. So for her to try to represent herself, to me, it will be court suicide because not only will she be fucking herself out of money that she wants or her mother wants, not only will she lose that, she's also going to lose morally because although we don't know the very severity of these charges, of what she's claiming, or of what's happening or what happened, we don't know. We just know by hearsay and what the Jane Doe had to say, what the mom said years prior, and all this other craziness. So we don't know what the hell's going on with this. But like I said, I will read the the lawsuit out. But as I said earlier, I don't believe Aries is just to blame for this. I do believe that Tiffany should have some blame on this as well. So let's continue back with the video.
Came up with the idea for the skit, and since I only saw one video, and it looks like he is the primary person engaging in the lewd behavior, allegedly, that Tiffany may be able to kind of sidestep this one. I don't know. Jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts. And in terms of not being able to speak about it, I get it. Anytime you're in a legal case, your attorneys will tell you not to say something. However, I've seen too many people go on television shows, come out publicly in front of the press and give an oral comment, and just say that I can't answer this question, because these are serious allegations. So I feel like you could do some kind of a press conference with your people standing there, say it verbally, because you are used to standing in front of an audience and speaking, but now you're no, nothing from you but these written statements. No, we need to see you. We need to hear you speak. We need your voice, and just say certain things I can't discuss, but I emphatically deny doing anything inappropriate. That's what we need. Anyway, y'all jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts.
All right. So, I agree wholeheartedly with what Laughs, Gossip, and Gags has to say about this.
Let me tell.
So let's get into this BuzzFeed article. Tiffany Haddish responds to allegations against her. Tiffany Haddish responded Monday to the allegations that comedy sketches she was involved in amounted to child sexual abuse, and said that she regretted being part of them. Haddish and fellow comedian Aries Spears were accused of child sexual abuse in a lawsuit filed last week. The suit, filed by two anonymous plaintiffs, accuses the comedians of recruiting them to perform indecent acts of sexual nature for comedy sketches that were filmed in 2013 and 2014. Now let's stop there. Let's go over what a lot of other people are saying. A lot of people are saying that Tiffany brought the girl. This is some Hollywood weird shit that Hollywood likes to do. But they like recruiting young boys and girls so they can do whatever the hell. And that since at the time Tiffany was an up and coming comedian and actress, that she wanted to get her name out there. So she did these sketches. But this is where I can basically hear what people are saying, but also at the same time I call bullshit on it. and this is what people are saying that well, this is what the far conspiracy theorists are saying is that Tiffany recruited these kids. 1 year she did it with the daughter. Said it was going to be a Subway commercial. It'll get national exposure. People will see her. People will know what she looks like. So on and so forth, right? Secondly, they said she came back a year after Jane Doe stated that to her mother that I don't like what's happening. They're saying a lot of weird things and they're having me do a lot of weird stuff. So I don't want to do this anymore. Blah 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 blah. Year later, after that whole debacle, she goes back, tells Teresa Jackson Johnson. I don't know her last name. That she has a Nickelodeon a Nickelodeon sizzle reel shoot for her son, and it's paying this blah 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 blah, and then she gets the kid to the set, has him take off all of his clothes, and then boom, like he calls his mom as well with the same 1-2. Mom, they're having me do this. I don't want to do this anymore. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. Right? We don't know any of this of what happened with that. We have no clue. But I will say this: if it did happen like that, then yes, I do believe that both Tiffany and Aries should go to jail. But if any of this is not true, there's no law to put people in jail who lie. So, like, what are they to do? Tiffany and Aries at this point. The only thing that they can do is do what their lawyers tell them to by not answering any questions and talking about this. And basically, I would say they should keep a low profile. Still do what they do, but don't have people see you out in public like that. Because you're basically on the chopping block right now of people that other people hate right now. So you're on the chopping block for that. So I'll continue with this article. I know people have a bunch of questions. Let me bring Tiffany's picture back up here. I know people have a bunch of questions, and maybe I should do this because the next one that I want to show you guys. So I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. I'm right there with you. Unfortunately, because there is an ongoing legal case, there's very little that I can say right now. Haddish said in a statement posted on her Instagram. So she had this posted right there. It says it right there. But while this sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny, and I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. Haddish said she looked forward to sharing more about the situation as soon as possible. Haddish's attorney, Andrew Bretler, previously denied the allegations in a statement to BuzzFeed News and called the lawsuit frivolous in an attempt to shake Haddish down for money, and has been trying to assert these bogus claims against Ms. Haddish for several years. Every attorney who has initially taken on her case, and there were several ultimately dropped. The matter once it became clear that the claims were meritless and Miss Haddish would not be shaken down. Spears' lawyer also said in a statement that he isn't going to fall for any shakedowns. The plain The plaintiffs' identities in the lawsuit as John and Jane Doe were 7 and 14 years old, respectively, at the time of the alleged incidents. The lawsuit accused Haddish and Spears of intentional inflictions of emotional distress, gross negligence, negligent supervision, which did so. I'm gonna read them all off. I'm gonna read all these charges off, and then I'm gonna let you know who owns what charges. So let's do this again. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, gross negligence, negligent supervision, breach of fiduciary duty, constructive fraud, and sexual battery and sexual harassment and sexual abuse of a minor. So, emotional distress, that will be, I would say that one will fall on Tiffany. Because, in certain scenes, if the kids like feel uncomfortable, I will say she was probably saying to them, "Look, just do the scene, get it done, so we can go home." Blah 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 blah. That's what I would say owns that charge. Gross negligence, I would say Aries owns that. Negligent supervision, I would say Tiffany owns that one. Breach of fiduciary duties, that would be Tiffany's as well. Constructive fraud, I would say would be under Aries, because the story behind that is that Teresa asked for the video so she can see the video. Aries told her that it wasn't ready yet, it wasn't edited yet, and he'll get it to her in a timely fashion and when he can. So I would say constructive fraud, that would be Aries's. And then sexual battery, I would say would have to fall under Aries. Sexual harassment would probably be under Aries and Tiffany. And sexual abuse of a minor, I would say falls under Aries, because he did touch a minor during one of those videos. But like last week, I have another comedian, same comedian, comedian Godfrey. He and his crew on his podcast, "In Godfrey We Trust," weighs in on this matter about the whole Aries and Tiffany Haddish debacle. So this is what they have to say.
Let me tell you, man, I think, this was dug up because of what Aries said, and then Tiffany was dragged in with it. But I've known Tiffany a long time. She is my friend. I had no fucking clue. We do a lot of videos. There's so much footage on the net that we don't know. And this is about 7 years ago, I think. It's
minimum
about,
that. It's might be longer than that.
Is it longer than that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it's longer than that.
It was 2014.
2014, and it's like
8 years. Yeah.
It was, and I haven't seen it, and I don't want to. And it's a sketch that has to do with children in underwear.
They use a kid in it,
and these kids, I think she's the godmother to these kids in this foster home. What am I? I don't know. I don't want to make sure
she knew the parents of the kids. So
no, in real life, she knows the kids of that. She's like their godmother, and she trusted her with those children. And they said that they're doing these sketches for Nickelodeon. They said it was some Nickelodeon shit,
but Tiffany did say recently.
So that's what the people are saying that Tiffany said to the mom, Teresa. That's what they're saying. This is what a lot of people on the internet are saying right now, which, like I said earlier, no one actually knows what the hell is really going on. So for us to not know what the hell is going on, we shouldn't be making any sort of allegations, for the simple fact of we don't know these people. We don't know Tiffany. We don't know Aries. We don't know Teresa. We don't know John or Jane Doe. We don't know these people. So we don't know how they get down. Now, at the time, 8 years ago of these videos happening, at the time of these videos going on, I would say yes. Not only is Aries and Tiffany at fault, but the script writers will have to be at fault, the director will be at fault, and the mother will have to be at fault. Why? Well, the mother, let's go backwards. The mother allowed her children to be in Tiffany's presence and getting to know her, and then letting Tiffany take her kids, which isn't bad. If she's a single mom and she needs time, to herself and stuff like that, cool, no problem. But the problem comes with this. If you don't know what the hell your kids are doing at all times with the people that you have around them, or the people that help you take care of them, then you're at fault. You're at full fault of this as well. Secondly, the director. If you watch the sketch, the first sketch isn't out. We don't know what the hell, it looks like. So with the second sketch, you see the kid the whole time in his underwear and doing crazy shit that I will not say on my show. But if you saw the sketch, and I advise you not to watch it, it was bad. It was bad. So that's the director doing that, because the director had to take the newspaper or construction paper, cut holes out in it, and shoot through the paper with it being the point of view of the pedophile, of which Aries was playing. Okay, so now we get into the script writers. The script writers are also at fault here, because they wrote that in the script of which Aries and Tiffany followed in the sketch. Now we get into Aries and Tiffany. Are they at fault? Yes, they're at fault, because they performed in the sketch, did these things in the sketch or sketches, and they have onus of this as well. So for me, everyone's at fault. We just can't just name Aries and Tiffany as the prime people here who, because who knows where Aries was in between takes with the director having the child do certain shit. Let's also put this on the director of the sketch. What's his background? What other things has he shot? Does he shoot other things like this? What does he do for a living? Is he an actual director and cameraman? This is what we have to look at here, because the director took those shots of the kid the way that he was in the sketch. The director is at full fault here as well. So we just can't just put the onus just on Tiffany and Aries. Let's continue.
She regretted doing it.
No, good.
Yeah,
she
I believe
has
she
to
did.
say that.
How would she
Well,
well, I think at first it came out, it was like, oh, this is a money grab.
Hold on, y'all. Let me go off camera for a minute, because my damn OBS is doing some weird shit right now. So I'll be right back, all right? All right, I'm back. Sorry about that because, like, the OBS, like, okay, so real quick, the OBS just got an update, and it's really like I'm using the old version of it because when I went to upgrade, it didn't have the my okay, that doesn't work. Hold on. Do that, and then let me go back to it. See if that works. All right. Like it's doing some weird stuff, so y'all gonna have to bear with me, because I should be fine now because. All right, cool. Yeah, I should be fine now. So let's continue.
But she said it was shaking her.
Right.
She threw out the
She did
shakedown and then had to retract.
I think she basically said she regretted doing it. I don't know what Aries has said, but I think it goes back to what you were sort of. Aries down a certain track, and you're hoping that he can pull back because look, I think Aries is funny.
No, we all know that.
But you don't want to
the
see
lawsuit. They're having a lawsuit now.
You just don't want
to arrest them and
But
shit.
you also, if you a certain type of dude, like, look, Tiffany's gonna be fine because
why? I'm just
because
Hart?
I think overall Tiffany
Hart.
No, because she's done good.
She's done very well.
She's done. I'm not saying.
And been
she's
very
done
honest.
Good for people.
Yes.
Good to people. Her vibe has always been like she's this positive chick, lifting motherfuckers up and trying to give people an opportunity. Whereas Aries has always been adversarial, and because he's adversarial, there's a different treatment.
That's what everyone is blaming this on, because Aries, of what they're saying, doesn't have the best track record when it comes to how he treats people. I would have included that in the in my in the whole order of videos I have for you guys today. But I'll just say what he said. He basically said this because someone on some show, on some podcast, said that he's not the nicest person, as the light-skinned gentleman said just now. But they basically put it on to how he talks to people and how he treats people and stuff like that. How if you bring up Aries' name amongst other comics, they'll go, oh him, yeah, Aries. Oh my gosh, man, like he's such a this, he's such a that, and blah 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 blah. But but to me, it's like, how in the hell does that garner someone from being like, how does that make people just not? How does that make people not stop and think, well, maybe he could be innocent as well as Tiffany? Well, no, because he did this and he did that. But it's like, you have to stop and think for a minute. Stop going off of what everyone else thinks and what everybody else says. This is our problem here in this country and possibly the world, because we do this far too fucking much. We sit here, we hear what someone else says, and we're like, you know what? That's what I think too. You have to stop and think. Okay, if you did see it, cool. But yeah. But if you didn't see the sketch for yourself and you're just going off of what someone says, although I would trust anyone's words when it comes to it. But this is what we have to look at here. We have to look at this. The light-skinned guy Dante on this video said he doesn't have the best track record when it comes to people. Tiffany Haddish is fine because she does right by other people. Okay. Well, you have to also think of this. Putting all of that aside, and all of the people that actually know Aries and that actually rock with Aries, would they say the same thing about him? Now, let's flip that. Would people say the same about Tiffany who know Tiffany? That she's a nice person and that she helps people. Would people who are on the opposite side, that's on the side of we hate Aries, or the people who say we love no, sorry. Would the people who hate Tiffany say the same thing that they're saying about Aries? That's what we have to think about here. And then you make your own cognitive thought about it, your own thought about what you feel is true and not true, stuff like that. Now, a lot of people are like, well, Aries is weird anyway. Like he'll do anything for a laugh. He did a video with a dude rubbing oil on his back and he kissed him. And it's like, nobody actually knows where the hell that video was from. They just said, well, he got this video on the internet where he kissing some dude in the mouth. It's like, do you know where that video came from? I'll let you know where that video came from because I have the DVD. So let me explain the video to y'all. So the video is a music video and it's called Fuck a Book Nigga, Look at My Dance. Which, if you look at it and you look at the if you look at the genius of the video, that's kind of where we're at now with music. Fuck a book nigga, look at my dance. Look at me shake my ass. Look at me talk about how good my pussy is. Let me talk about how much money I got. That, just think of the genius of Aries in with the concept of this. This is what all the music is about now. So, the lead up in the stand-up special that he had called Look Hollywood, I'm Smiling. He set the video up because he did his he did his impressions of like LL Cool J, Jay-Z, DMX, and I forgot somebody else. I forgot who it was. So he did like a stand-up set, an hour-long stand-up set. In the set, he did impressions of rappers or whatever. And then before he closed his special out, he directed everybody to look at the screens this for his music video of his rap character. I want to say it's Big Bubba Bugaloo or something. He named the character. So, like I said, the name of the song is called "Fuck a Book Nigga, Look at My Dance," and basically it was like this Southern rap character that he made up or whatever, basically rapping about, fuck reading books or whatever. Look at this dance or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Right? So in the video, is the part that I was speaking of earlier, was him kissing a dude in the mouth. Well, although Aries was playing the character of which, the rap character of which he made up, we can say that, yeah, that was Aries, but at the same time, that was a character he was playing. When he says, what's the line? When I say he's my man, he really my man, and he kisses him. Kisses the dude in the mouth, which was weird, but on some acting shit. What actor do you know? Male actor, do you know hasn't kissed a man in the mouth on film? You have Kevin Hart. You have what's his name? Dwayne Johnson. You got Will Smith. You have and Will Smith did it twice. Who else do you got? Wherever the fat dude's name that was in that movie with Will Smith, he kissed Will Smith, so he kissed the guy too. We can go on for days of what actors hasn't kissed another man in the mouth. Like, so that that whole argument is dead there. So stop making that argument. Also, before I lose my point here. So a lot of people are trying to dig for things, and they're trying to match things up. Well, this is what this is, and this is what this means. You don't have the proper context to make your argument sound good. So just stop. If you don't look at shit, you won't understand shit. Now, I look at damn near everything, so I can try to understand what the fuck's going on. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, this is some pedophilia shit. Well, I did that video too. I did what you don't know about pedophilia. It's right here on YouTube. It's right here in the Marcus Speaks Live playlist. Go and watch it. I did, like an hour or so? Hour and 30 minutes of information of what you do not know about pedophiles. People say, well, I don't need to watch that video because I know everything about pedophiles. They sick. Well, you need to learn about their sickness and why they're sick so you can better understand and better prepare yourself around your neighborhood. Because if you go and look into, if you download an app, I forgot what the app's called, but basically for anybody who has made any type of sex crimes, you can go on this app and look these people up, and most of the time they're right in your goddamn neighborhood. And you probably don't know this because you're probably too goddamn busy with your own life. You gotta stop, and you have to just stop sometimes. Go outside of yourself and look some of this information up. Because I tell you, when I did that video, I had basically did 2 weeks worth of research before doing that video. Just like another video that I did before that one, which was called it was either called trafficking or sex trafficking. It was either or. I did 2 weeks of research about that, and I gave you information about how to better prepare yourself, which I believe that video deserves a part 2 because of all the stuff that's happening now with these warnings of women. I mean, for women. I told this girl that I work with, or that I did work with, that if you're out by yourself, shopping or getting something to eat or whatever, and you're too in tune to what's going on your phone and stuff like that, and you so happen to come up on your car and you see a tissue stuffed in your handle, your outside door handle, or if it's laying on your handle, don't touch it because it's laced with a drug that can make you dizzy, and you're fair game for whoever's tracking you or on you. So you have to pay close attention to your surroundings. I told her this because I work with her, number one, so I care about her well-being, and number two, I don't want her getting hurt or, her family being sad. And I will say that to any of my female co-workers as well. If you're watching, if you're out and about, don't touch your door handle if you see a tissue there. I suggest you go back to where you came from, either if it was a restaurant or the mall or some store or whatever. You go in there, you let the manager know, have them call the cops, so you have a witness that you told somebody, and the cops can come and they can do an assessment of the situation. But going back to this, to what I was saying, so yeah, I did that video basically because I gave a damn, number one, about kids. Not only that, because I have nieces and nephews. I don't have any kids of my own yet, but I do have nieces and nephews, and I give a fuck about their well-being. That's the reason why I made that. It's kind of sort of in a way where whenever they get older or old enough to understand and comprehend certain information, it's for them to look at. Like, hey, you need to look at this video I made like 2 years ago. It's about this. Like, you need to watch it. Like, and I even would say it to y'all as parents, if you're watching, as parents, without your kids, just watch the video. It's an hour. It'll take no time for you to watch. This is when I was doing pre-recorded videos and uploading them to YouTube. Just go and watch the video. Like, you'll actually learn something. In there, I talked about a video I had watched here on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. I forgot what it was called. I forgot what it's called now, but I believe I said the actual video name in the video. But basically, it was this guy hanging out at this Pizza Hut talking to these 13-year-old boys, and he was a pedophile because he was being followed around by cameras, whoever was making this god awful fucking documentary. But you actually learn some stuff about the sickness of why pedophiles fall in love with kids. And not only that, I got a motherfucker who actually commented. He deleted the comment, but I lit his ass up in the next video. If you see a video of a black wolf, that's the video where I light this motherfucker up, because this dude basically said, "Hey, you should make a video about minor attracted adults." I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? I'm not making no fucking video about that. What the hell is wrong with you, dog? I made this video for the simple fact that I want to warn people about y'all sick motherfuckers, not do a video where I'm saying, well, yeah, there are kids who like a. Nah, I'm not doing that. And it's not even true what the fuck the dude was saying in any goddamn way. So I don't even, like, for him to say that dumb shit, I got so fucking angry, and that's the reason why I made another video called something. I forgot what it was called. But anyway, getting back into this video, because I lost my point a long time ago, but let's get back into the video.
The thing, I don't fucking play that kid shit. Fuck that. Like, that was irresponsible as fuck. This is not putting her down and going behind her back at all. This is like, that was fucking irresponsible. I don't know. And people say, well, you're hungry, you're trying to get on. But with children, I don't. Fuck that. I don't that pedophilia shit isn't funny to me. There's nothing funny about that shit.
If you're not somebody who can't read the room in general, like, you can't read, you don't see what it looks like, because you so in your busy trying to do whatever the fuck you trying to get famous or whatever. I'm gonna do this sketch. Yet you don't even have what's the ramification? What does this look like?
The wherewithal from her going through what she's gone through foster care and stuff like that, you would go, wait a minute, because she's an advocate for foster children. She helps them. She has a foundation, and you go, what the fuck? And Tiffany always knew she was going to help foster kids. When I knew her in 2003, she was like,
now, good point, Godfrey. Now, I believe Tiffany wrote a book, and I believe she put a section in that book that revolves around foster kids being abused in their foster homes or in their foster parents' care. Now, by any means, I did not read the book, and by any means, I don't know what is written in the book. I'm just making a speculation right now. So, some people will say that and I'll say this too. Some people will say that if kids in foster care, I don't know the percentage, but most of the time, children in foster care get abused in some way. I don't know the percentage of it, but I'm pretty sure it's a pretty high percentage. So if Tiffany, in a way, had got, and this is allegedly, let's say Tiffany got sexually abused by someone in her foster, while she was, you know what I'm saying, like moving around in foster homes. Let's say that she got sexually abused while in one of her foster homes. Some psychologists will say that that type of activity that gets done to children that's unchecked, where they're not getting any sort of psychological help from it. Some psychologists will say, and this is even not even with just foster kids, it's just kids in general. If kids are sexually assaulted in some sort of way by an adult, most likely they will carry those very same acts out on kids when they grow up. So, like I said, I'm only making a speculation, and this is allegedly. I have no idea if Tiffany had ever gotten abused in her foster homes. Which, like I said, I never read the book, nor do I know what's in the book. So if she does have a section in that book that states that she got abused in some way, then I wouldn't be wrong. But if I am wrong, I will retract my statements next week. So it's just, it is what it is. But like I said, we can't put that on Tiffany if it didn't happen. If it did happen and she still has a care for kids and she doesn't want to hurt kids, cool. There is no argument there for me. But if there is in some sort of way to where somewhere in her life she did and it got unchecked, she didn't go and see anybody, she didn't go to any therapy for it, then we will say that maybe the acts of which was put upon her, in a way she put them on other kids. But like I said, I'll retract my statement next week if this shit is wrong. Like, if it's wrong, I'll apologize now. I don't mean any of the words that I'm saying right now. I'm only making a speculation. Plus you can't sue me because I have nothing that you can sue for. But anyway, let's continue in the video. I'm probably only going to play maybe one more minute or so, and then we'll move on.
If I ever get money, I'm gonna do this for foster children. So she already knew about the children shit and the suffering.
We've seen people joke about it.
I don't even joke about no shit like that ever. You have kids, you have a child, you're about to have a kid. I'm just saying, I don't have any, but I have nieces and nephews. I would be like, fuck, who the fuck, what? Like, and people are like, well, where was the parent? I guess she trusted her.
Yeah.
Fuck all that. I'm going. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What filming what? Motherfuckers are in underwear. I haven't seen it, but motherfuckers are in underwear.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And it's on film. So there's nothing. I'm not doing any disservice to her. But what it has to be, she can atone. I hope she atones for this shit.
She will, but
because
I think
that shit was not funny.
So it's kind of like, It
was just, where do you go from there? And
with Louis, right?
Yes.
Louis, whatever you want to say about.
All right. Basically, he was saying, to end that, he basically was saying, like, people hate Louis C.K. because of the shit that he's done and whatever. So, moving on back to the article. The article states, that the lawsuit accuses Haddish of taking Jane Doe, then 14, to a Hollywood studio to film a sexually suggestive video. The minor was asked by the comedian to watch a video featuring a group of women eating a sandwich and moaning and making sexual noises as they both ate the sandwich in a manner that simulated the act of fellatio, the suit said. The plaintiff alleges that Spears then told Jane Doe to mimic what she had seen on the video, including the noises precisely like what she had heard throughout the video. So here's the problem. Did Aries know that this girl was 14 years old? I'm pretty sure people will say, well, you shouldn't have to know if she's 14, if she looks 14. And I would say this, what the fuck does a 14-year-old look like? Because when I was 14, 14-year-old girls, although they did look young, they had bodies on them when I was 14. Girls had body shit. When I was in 7th grade, girls started coming into their bodies. So, did Aries know that this girl was 14 years old? That's one of the questions I want to ask. 2, did Tiffany, or did the girl lie about her age? Did she say that she was 18? So if she's feeling uncomfortable with that scene, the only way that they would not even shoot the scene, I would say, is if she told them, number one, look, I'm not comfortable with the scene. I'm only 14. I don't want to make those noises, whatever. Or did Tiffany say, well, yeah, I can find you a 18-year-old girl to do this, and went to Teresa's house, hey, I got a Subway commercial for your daughter. She'll be perfect in it. We don't know this, nor can I make that speculation that Tiffany did that. So, with that being said, we don't know what the fuck happened. Like I keep saying, we don't know what the fuck happened. Now, was the shit lewd and was the shit wrong for them to do? Hell yeah, they should have never fucking did this shit. But at the same time, we don't know what the moving parts of both sketches are, what type of casting they tried to do. Was people handpicked? Did they actually do a casting call for the sketches? Why some people are saying, well, why didn't he just use like a midget or whatever to play the kids or whatever? Sorry, small people. Why didn't they get a small person to find to do this? That's adult, but they can, have the height of a child so they can play a child. Like, why didn't they do this? Like I keep saying, we don't fucking know. We don't know at all what the moving parts of this is. We can only make wrongful speculations, which, people, if you haven't paid attention, by y'all making these fucked up statements in y'all's videos, remember what happened to Tasha K. That's all I have to say. Because Tasha K now, once again, got a cease and desist letter from Charlemagne the God from talking about him, from some stuff that of which is on, what was it? I think it's public record, but you guys are gonna have to look that up yourself. But Tasha K got a cease and desist letter from Charlemagne's lawyers, basically stating, stop fucking talking about my client in a way that, basically, if you're making messed up statements about him, I don't want you talking about my client. because she did a 3 hour, I believe it's 3 hours and 34 minutes video of the girl that accused Charlemagne of R-wording her at a party that Charlemagne threw back in like 2007 or something like that. This story has been going on for years. It's been popping up and stuff. Like it popped up last year, I believe, if not the beginning of this year, and it's popping up again. And I can see Charlemagne probably is tired of it. What Charlemagne says when he talks about it is, I didn't see my cousin. I went to the police station to see if he was arrested, and they arrested me when I got to the police station. And he basically says, look, well, I fessed up to it for the simple fact that I don't want to get my cousin in trouble. So that's the reason why this girl is steady going around. And I don't even know if it's true or not, so I'm not even going to make certain statements about that situation because I wasn't there. I don't know. I can't make certain statements if I wasn't there and I don't know these people. Like that's weird to begin with. Now, where was I in this article? So y'all just gonna have to start watching what the hell y'all saying on these videos because it can get y'all in trouble. So the plaintiff, I've said that already. Haddish then allegedly showed Jane Doe how to perform fellatio, including movements, noises, moaning, and groaning. The plaintiff alleged that Tiffany paid her $100 and sent her home. A year later, in 2014, Haddish reached out to the mother and filmed another video, this time with her 7-year-old son, John Doe. The video was a comedy sketch titled "Through a Pedophile's Eyes." The lawsuit alleged that John was stripped down to his underwear and that the video shows Spears lusting over the 7-year-old child and molesting him throughout the video. The plaintiffs also alleged that Haddish was present during the filming of the video. Once filming ended, the lawsuit said John Doe called his mother crying, saying he did not want to film anymore. The lawsuit is calling for Tiffany and Aries' immediate arrests per the lawsuit. Wednesday on Aries, Spears, and Steinberg podcast, Aries opens the show with a soft opening to vaguely talk about the situation at hand and how he feels about it. So, I will play that in just a second once I get to it. I just got to find the... Okay, here we go. So, let's see. All right. So here we go.
What's up, y'all? You know who it is. Listen, obviously for legal reasons, I'm not able to divulge. Is that the right word?
Address. You're not even supposed to address.
I was trying to find a more suitable word, but I really can't talk about anything at this time. But I just more or less want to say to all the loyal listeners, all my fans, very few friends that I have and supporters. Got a call from my brother Shabazz OG, who you remember. And, I could name I wish I could remember all the names, but, Shamor, Kolsch, Sergio Sosa, CC, Ash A, Farah A.B., Rand Futch, Junebug Spade. Y'all know who y'all are. Leroy Furious. Thank you guys for your support and for your love. I will certainly remember you and make sure you all get invites to the all-white yacht party with the bevy of bitches that I keep talking about. Listen, this is an extortion case. This is a shakedown. And I didn't need my lawyer to tell me this, to say this, but I'm going to echo her words. We won't be shaken down. And believe me, it's bothering me not to talk about the skit, because Annie and I have been talking about it, and there's some very valid things I feel like I have to say or want to say, but just can't at this time. And I'm no coward. I'm not running from anything, and I'm not guilty of anything. It's the reason why I won't turn my mentions off on my Instagram. It's the reason why, I'm not deleting any of my old posts. And I would love to address it head on. Tony Montana, Scarface, balcony scene, shooting 1,000 Colombians. But I can't. I just can't. And it's paining me to do so because I'm a fighter. I'm not a runner. And my character's being assassinated. Again, I want to address the skit especially, but I just can't. I will say this, though, to the loyal listeners. If you remember back when that Arnold Schwarzenegger skit that we did, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the system, fucker. Get back, system, try to fuck back. You guys didn't know it at the time, and I couldn't say it at the time, but that's what this is about. That's what this is about. It's a shakedown and extortion. And I will just say this. I want to say thank you to the very lovely lady. I won't say her name. But there was a woman who hit me up on Instagram, and she wrote me, "Hey, Aries, if you need my help regarding the," and she also mentions the person's name who's trying to shake us down. As much as I want to expose that bitch, I won't say her name either. But she goes, "If you need my help regarding the blank situation, have your legal team reach out to me. I've known this person for over 35 years. They're a huge scammer. I can prove it to you. Here's my number. I will be able to assist you." And I will say this, if you can even dig up the history yourself, but this person has a history of these false accusations, saying that they've been raped. They even once blamed the whole entire San Bernardino Police Department for allegedly fondling her and her children at the same time in the same house. Picture that. An entire fucking police department. Come on, man. And what's killing me is, all the people hitting me up. At no point there's a little bit of, common sense or red flags or you just, whatever, man. People are just running with this. And it didn't help with the Lizzo thing. So I'm having a bad week. But it be what it be. So again, thank you to the people that support, love, standing by me. I love y'all back. Now let's have a podcast. Steve.
All right. So he also goes over his podcast partner, Steinberg. He asks his opinion of some things as well. So let me see if I can get to it. All right, this is the best I can do.
Shit.
Other than the people who want to make a point and can't get a hold of you seem to be able to find my fucking social media and want to talk to me. So I just like to tell them they can address where you want to address, but I fuck off.
Man, even RZA brother, RZA Islam hit me up.
Yeah.
And gave me some brother talk. So,
if nothing else, maybe the spaceship will come grab you and take you away.
Yeah, I might need that, nigga. I might fucking need that. Okay.
All right. So then they hop into their podcast. That was Wednesday's show. So they also do a Thursday show where they basically do like audience emails. They read off audience emails. So this is what was said in that video. As soon as I get the correct timestamp. 2312. That's gonna have to do.
All right. This is from my mother, Doris Spears. She writes, "I love you. Keep your head to the sky during the storm. Your fans love and support you, and they will always make that obvious." She meant to say they will. Mom, I got to give you a $10 a lot of my mama. God damn. This the same woman that made me do book reports in the summer to make sure that we were on point in terms of articulation and verbal skills. But you know where my mother's from?
Yeah.
Mississippi. My mother's from Jackson, goddammit. Handle this.
Amongst Jackson having a lot of problems right now with their water. Go figure, right?
With the APOM that defines your character. Haters have to have freedom too. It's a bitch. You'll be richer for the hardships in every way. Always stay ready for the good shit. You're still evolving into your prime, Mom. And when Andy, and I remember when we talked about this at Black's Barbecue, and I said, I'll wait till I read the email. But when you mentioned something to me, and now I'm going to hate myself because I can't word it the way you said it, but kind of what my mother alluded to. Oh, you kind of said something about you're still discovering who you are. And I think when you said that, that's why I went, And I wanted to tell it to you right then and there, but I was like, nah, let me save it for the emails. Because she said that. You're still evolving into your prime. And I thought that was interesting that you said it and my mother echoed it. Or better yet, she said it and you echoed it. Because I just went, yeah. And I'm going to tell you something. As much as I'm nervous, as much as I, in the back of my mind, because I already felt like my career was over before all this. I felt I was blackballed and my shit was over. But I always said I felt like I was one thing away from the turnaround. But now with this, I'm almost certain that tombstone is written. But something, and maybe this is me being naive, maybe this is me being corny, but from the day my mother had my back and groomed me into this thing called showbiz, I believed everything she said. I believed every word. I believed she's the reason why I'm here. So if the woman whose body I came out of says I'm gonna be all right, be all right.
And I think that this is everybody loves a good comeback story.
Well, then be ready because this is gonna be a motherfucker.
So his mom wrote into the show, and basically she gives him some words of encouragement, basically telling him, like, look, this soon shall pass. Don't worry about it. You're still evolving into your prime. You have nothing to worry about. Your fans know that. You know that. So just let this pass by. Let your lawyers handle all of this, and it shall be done soon. Now, a lot of people aren't looking at his show for the simple fact that they already see him as this weird guy that touches kids in videos, right? So they wouldn't watch this, but watch either Wednesday's show or Thursday's show because they have some sort of thing going on in their head, basically stating that they don't even really give a damn. So I would say that whenever this is done, we will then know the real information when it comes out. Now, since this is basically a civil case, we probably won't get any like major news coverage of it, like how they do with like what's his name, the guy, the police officer that killed George Floyd, Derek Chauvin. We probably won't get no Derek Chauvin type of court showings or anything. So we'll just have to wait until all this is over when they can finally come out and talk about it. Well, let's talk about this lawsuit, right? So I have this in preview. Okay, so this is the lawsuit. So defendant did not have plaintiff's consent to engage in acts of sexual assault, molestation, and sexual harassment. So I believe this is probably part of it. Oh no, I'm at the wrong page. Sorry. All right, here we go. So Jane Doe is listed on her lawsuit, the Jane Doe that filed this in Las Vegas, Nevada. So Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Los Angeles. Jane Doe individually and on behalf of John Doe, a minor individual plaintiff, versus Tiffany Haddish, an individual, and Ari Spears, an individual defendants. So, complaint for damages. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, gross negligence, negligent supervision, failure to warn, breach of fiduciary duty, constructive fraud, sexual battery, sexual harassment, sexual abuse of a minor. Demand from jury trial. So plaintiff Jane Doe, Miss Doe, individually and on behalf of John Doe, Mr. Doe, a minor, collectively plaintiffs alleged as follow. Plaintiffs Jane Doe was born in 2000. Plaintiff Jane Doe was 14 years old when assaulted by Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears in Los Angeles, California. 2. Mr. Doe was born in 2007. Mr. Doe was 7 years old when assaulted by Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears in Los Angeles, California. Plaintiff Jane Doe is 22 years old, resides in Nevada. Plaintiff Jane Doe is legal guardian of Mr. Doe. Now, if that doesn't send up a red flag, then I don't know what to tell you. This is why I should send up a red flag. Why doesn't the mother have the brother? Right? So why is it that the mother does not have the brother to where now she, Jane Doe, has to take care of her youngest brother that is 14 years old right now? And I believe Jane Doe is 20. Yeah, she's 22 now. So there's a problem then. What is the mother doing that she doesn't have custody over her child? Let's move on. That's just one question I wanted to ask. That's not how I want these pages to go. So 1 second, y'all. Continue to scroll. All right, so the name Jane Doe, as utilized in this complaint, is not the actual name of plaintiff Jane Doe, but is a fictitious name utilized to protect her privacy as a victim of childhood sexual harassment, molestation, abuse, and assault. See Doe versus Lincoln Unified School District. The name John Doe is utilized. Okay, says the same thing. Tiffany Haddish is an American actress, comedian, and author. After guest starring on several television series, she gained prominence for her role as Nikisha Williams on the NBC sitcom The Carmichael Show. Haddish worked and appeared on the popular website Funny or Die. I need to move in. I might need glasses. Let me see if I can move this over and then have it come out a little bit more. One second, work with me, y'all. Okay. All right. So let's see. All right. All right, where was I? So Tiffany Haddish appeared on Funny or Die, where the soft porn molestation video of Mr. Doe was shown. Aries is an American stand-up comedian, actor, and writer. Spears was an actor on Fox's sketch comedy series Mad TV. Spears worked and appeared on the popular website Funny or Die, where the soft porn molestation video of Mr. Doe was showcased. Haddish and Spears, collectively defendants, purposely availed themselves. Availed themselves to Los Angeles, California jurisdiction in this court venue because all or a substantial portion of the events or omissions given rise to the claims occurred in Los Angeles, California. Additionally, upon information and belief, Los Angeles, California is the domicile of defendants at the time these events occurred. Now, this is one thing, right? Y'all see that it has the watermark on here? And it looked like it says unfile in deadline or unfiled in deadline, right? Which means if it was unfiled, that means that she never filed this lawsuit. She's just accusing them of this. But it's a full written thing, right? Like it's full written. It's 31 pages worth of shit here. So let's continue. Now, facts common to all causes of action. Plaintiffs knew Haddish as a longtime family friend of their mother. Haddish would come over to the plaintiff's house frequently and pick up their mother for comedy shows. Upon information and belief, Haddish groomed plaintiffs and initiated contact with them. As a result of Haddish and Spears' actions, the plaintiffs are both traumatized for life. Okay. Haddish brought 14-year-old plaintiff Jane Doe to Hollywood studio to film a sexually suggestive Subway commercial. Haddish brought the plaintiffs to Spears' home, where Spears molested Mr. Doe on film. Mr. Doe was groomed and molested by Haddish and Spears. Mr. Doe was groomed, groped, molested, and sexually assaulted by Spears and was aided, abetted, and filmed by David Spatz. Okay. David Spatz. Let's look him up. Let's see. David Spatz. I need movies. He directed Aries Spears' 2011 Look Hollywood, I'm Smiling comedy special. He also directed The Substitute '96, In Too Deep with LL Cool J in '99, and Porntourage, which I guess is a parody of Entourage. You know how they do porn parodies? So, This lets me further know that Mr. Spatz is a director, which also lets me further know, since he did a movie called Porntourage, a parody to Entourage, which means to me this man has some sort of sexual deviancy about himself. David Spatz, producer, actor, and director. This is his LinkedIn page too. Let's go to it. I will show this on screen. Mr. Spatz. So, Mr. Spatz, or Spates. I might be saying, I said Spatz. David Spates. Producer, actor, director, Los Angeles, California, United States. I Need a Profession, David Spatz, director. Nightmare. Helping Your Ex. They don't make them like they used to. You gotta watch what you take at parties, folks. How to Find Your Biological Family. The Good Doctor. When They Say Your Full Name. This is all comedy videos that he's doing. These are all comedy videos. Love Conquers All. It Takes a Village. Surgery Can Mess You Up. Girls Just Want to Have Fun Together. These are all of the sketches that he has done. David Spates. You learn something new every day, people. Now, since he has directed a lot of crazy shit, that should give us a good indicator of who else is also behind this shit. So, where was his name at that I left off at? So,
Marcus Speaks.
Plaintiff, blah, 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 blah. There was a parent, or there was no parent or guardian, nor parent or guardian signature or agreements to let the children participate in the taping of the sexual explicit video or the uploading of the sexually explicit video. Yeah, but where was his name at that I saw? Okay, there it goes right there. So I jumped forward. So the molestation video was uploaded and published on the website Funny or Die in 2014 and was not removed from the internet until May 2021. The plaintiffs were both minors and were incapable of consenting to participate in sexually graphic videos distributed and published via Funny or Die platform. There was no parent or guardian present or guardian to sign off on children to participate in the taping sexual. Yeah, I said that already. So, okay, so Tiffany Haddish forces plaintiff Mrs. Doe to give fellatio. In the early summer of 2013, plaintiff Jane Doe was enrolled in a comedy camp at the Laugh Factory. The camp was for kids to meet, socialize, practice telling jokes, and step outside their respective comfort zone. This is basically the same camp that Tiffany went to when she was 14. So, Haddish was a guest speaker at the camp and told plaintiff Jane Doe she had a perfect role for her. Haddish only told plaintiff Jane Doe's mother redacted and completely minimal explanation of the skit plaintiff Jane Doe would take part in. Neither plaintiff Jane Doe nor mother knew what the skit would be about. Only Spears and Haddish knew the storyline for the skit, as well as your friend David Spates. Haddish picked up plaintiff Jane Doe on the date of the school in her car, put the top down, and grabbed lunch to calm plaintiff Jane Doe's nerves. Who the hell is writing this? Because I've viewed other things like this on my show, and none of them had this sort of information down in it. But since it's probably a civil case, this is probably what we get. So, Haddish, okay. Once at the studio, it was dark enough that plaintiff Jane Doe could not make out anyone's face. A video began playing in the recording studio of an older man and a college-age woman arguing over a Subway sandwich. The video continued with the older man and college-age woman eating the sandwich simultaneously from either end, similar to the Lady and the Tramp. However, grotesquely shoving as much sandwich as they could in their mouths and getting toward each other's respective mouths. The two were moaning and making sexual noises as they both ate the sandwich in a manner that simulated the act of fellatio. Okay. Spears then told plaintiff Jane Doe that he wanted her to mimic what she had seen on the screen, including the noises precisely like what she heard throughout the video. Plaintiff Jane Doe, nervous and disgusted, didn't say anything until Haddish came into the room next to her and sat down. Haddish verbally explained what was expected of plaintiff Jane Doe and then showed plaintiff Jane Doe how to give fellatio, including movements, noises, moaning, and groaning. Upon information in behalf, Haddish coached a minor into giving simulated fellatio while Spears watched. Physically, emotionally, and mentally uncomfortable, plaintiff Jane Doe mimicked the acts that Haddish and Spears wanted her to do so she could go home. Haddish and Spears left the minor, plaintiff Jane Doe, with no other options but to submit. But she could have just left. Like, what are you talking about? After the scene, Haddish paid plaintiff Jane Doe $100 and sent her home. But Tiffany brought her there, so why would Tiffany then leave her or have her go off on her own devices? It already doesn't sound right. So let's So in the summer of 2013, Haddish solicited plaintiff Jane Doe, who was 14 years old, to engage in the production of a sexually suggestive video. Until this point, Haddish was a role model to the 14-year-old victim. Upon the information in behalf, Haddish groomed the child victim, gained her trust, and created a false sense of security. Haddish stated that this was her way of helping the child victim get on television, and that the video could be added to the child's film reel. Upon information in behalf, Haddish performed a similar scene in her movie Girls Trip, where plaintiff Jane Doe unlocked a repressed memory and realized the severity of what happened to her. People, do you understand what the fuck I just read? Let's read that last one over again. Upon information and belief, I said behalf the first time. Upon information and belief, Haddish performed a similar scene in her movie Girls Trip, where plaintiff Jane Doe unlocked a repressed memory and realized the severity of what happened to her. Check this out. I believe Girls Trip came out in 2018. Well, let me look. Is it girls with a Z or girls with an S? Let me just try girls with an S. The film came out in 2017, yo. So check this out. She said that what she watched in the movie unlocked a repressed memory, right? If her mom has been trying to sue Tiffany for quite some time, right? Why would she then watch a movie of Tiffany giving fellatio? If y'all watch the movie, y'all know what I'm talking about with the grapefruit. Y'all should know that if her mom has a problem with Tiffany and she was molested by Aries Spears and Tiffany, why in the fuck is she watching Girls Trip with Tiffany Haddish in it? Why is she watching that fucking movie? It makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. How, if you don't like somebody or somebody did something to you that you feel as though you felt as though was molesting you or coercing you into doing something that you didn't want to do, and you have a repressed memory, why would you then watch a movie that the very person that you don't like is in that fucking movie? It makes no sense right now. Why would she? Somebody just wrote something on here. Maybach Mel says, salute. Oh, what's up, homie? Why in the hell would she watch that movie? If she and her mother, let's say, doesn't like Tiffany, or they're scared of Tiffany, or what have you, why does she watch Girls Trip? This automatically lets me know that this fucking lawsuit is a fucking lie, and it is a shakedown. It's that very line right there. Upon information and belief, Haddish groomed the 14-year-old victim and frightened her. I guess that's what that was supposed to say. Having her best interest in mind. Haddish sexually molested and traumatized 14-year-old victim for her gain, both monetarily and commercially. Haddish forced a 14-year-old victim to perform simulated fellatio, to record commercial sex acts, and the production of child pornography. All right. Haddish knew the child was under 18 and sexually exploited plaintiff Jane Doe for profit and likes on social media. This was 2014. This was 2014. Although making money online was nothing new at that time. But I'm pretty sure Haddish did it for free by ways of being paid by Aries. Probably got half her money, just like a comedy show, half her money before she came, and then the other half when she finished. Probably gave the girl the $200 of what she's speaking. I mean, the $100 of which she's speaking of. Gave her $100 from her money, or however much money Tiffany was being paid, if she was paid, and sent her home. But the girl came with Tiffany. So how in the fuck is Tiffany going to be so irresponsible to give her $100 and tell her to go home. Who the fuck does that? If she has a good rapport with her mother, number one, she's some sort of a godmother or something to the girl. Why would, let's put this on me. Why would my godfather, if I came somewhere with him, say, "Here's this is $100. Now go home"? Why would he do that if I came there with him and if him having a good relationship with my mother and all of that, a good friendship with my mother? Why in the fuck would he then go after shit was done and say, "All right, here's your $100. Go ahead and go home"? What? My mom would then say, "What you doing home so soon?" "Oh, I did the scene. I got paid $100 and he sent me home." He sent you home? What you mean he sent you home? He made you come here all by yourself? Yeah. Oh, hell no. Let me call this motherfucker. That's what my mom would say. What did her mother say? We don't know that because she's not out here saying anything. But I'm gonna leave it there for real. Like I'm gonna leave it there. Hold on. Hold on. This is the John Doe thing. Hold on. How long have I been on here? Almost 3 hours. All right. So we kind of sort of know the whole John Doe thing, but in summer 2014, Haddish offered to book, arrange, and film Mr. Doe content for a Nickelodeon sizzle reel at the home of Spears. Haddish claimed the reel would be used to book Mr. Doe on Nickelodeon. When they arrived at Spears' home, Haddish told plaintiff Jane Doe that she needed Mr. Doe for a Nickelodeon skit and they had to be separated for this. Why? Upon information and belief, Haddish and Spears removed the 7-year-old victim from his sister, placed him upstairs in a bedroom, and stripped the child down to his underwear. The video was entitled "Through a Pedophile's Eyes" and shows Spears lusting over the 7-year-old child and molesting him throughout the video. Haddish was present during the filming and the entire video and aided, abetted, and watched Spears sexually molest the child. Okay. Some red flags popped up in my head while I was reading this. Number one, why does the child, number one, have to be separated from the sister? Two, why then do we strip the child down to his underwear? Number three, who would lie about this child being on Nickelodeon if the reel isn't for Nickelodeon? That's number three. Also, this is what people are also saying, which this isn't saying, which I believe. Let's keep reading. I had to redact some shit out of here for the simple fact that the shit was lewd. But it didn't redact that bottom part. Hold on. I gotta take this off real fast. All right, never mind. All right, so video explanation of Spears molesting John Doe. The video began with Haddish holding Mr. Doe in his. Hold on. Okay, Haddish holding Mr. Doe in his underwear, grasping the child's buttocks like a maternal figure, as pictured below. I redacted that. I wasn't putting that up there. Haddish leaves child with Spears to watch the child because she has some place to be. I don't think that they would put that in a lawsuit, but let's keep going. Once Haddish is out of sight, Spears, the pedophile, leers at the child lustfully. He winks at the child as a foreshadowing of what is to come. The scene changes to Mr. Doe playing on the floor with some toys still stripped to his underwear, while Spears sitting on a couch right next to the child. Spears is reading a newspaper, and when he drops some of the pages to the ground, he is left with what? With Q sheet with two cutout eye holes to stare at 7-year-old child's body. Spears opened his eyes, as seen right there, with that video. I mean, not video, with that picture. Spears is reading newspaper and what drops some pages to the ground, blah, 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 blah. 7-year-old Spears opens his eyes as big as possible to make his stares lustful at the 7-year-old child as pictured below. So that's the picture below. The cameraman now zooms in for a close-up on the 7-year-old child's buttocks in underwear, showing Spears' visual focus on sexualizing the minor. This is where we can stop. Because this is why. You know that guy I brought up earlier? David Spates? He was the fucking director of this. So who is to fuck the blame for this? Because he also has producer, director, and what was it? Actor? Let me look his name up again. And I just saw that was weird. Wow, check this out, y'all. Let me zoom in on this. What y'all see next to David's name down here? Tiffany Haddish. Let's click on it, why don't we? So this is David Spates named as the person who filmed Tiffany. David Spates filmed child abuse skit. So check this out. Who the fuck is the real person to blame for this? David fucking Spates. I'm pretty sure David Spates filmed all of Ari Spears's I'm pretty sure he was the one who filmed all of Aries' skits. This is your guy. Does you know what else he had to do with that shit? Not only did he film it, he probably had to edit it, and he had to upload it. So how long did Spates have this video for? The world will never know. Now, that's it with that, yo. So moving on to this BLM stuff. Hopefully this takes me 30 minutes to get through because I'm only going to be on here for the next, or really 28 minutes. So, Black Lives Matter Family Feud, y'all. So, if you guys don't know what the hell's going on, I'll let this lovely light-skinned lady tell you.
We have another developing story we're following. Several leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement, they filed a lawsuit against a former Black Lives Matter executive for allegedly stealing $10 million for his own personal gain. Nick Smith is here with a breakdown of this lawsuit. Nick?
Adrian, I can tell you this has been extremely popular online. Black Lives Matter has been the heartbeat of the social justice movement across the nation since 2013 after the death of Trayvon Martin. But more recently, the civil rights organization has come under fire and under a cloud of suspicion after allegations that one of its founders and some of its other leaders used contributions to pay themselves high six-figure salaries and buy million-dollar homes. Now, 26 different Black Lives Matter chapters have filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court claiming the head of the Black Lives Matter Global Fund Network used $10 million of charitable contributions for his personal use. The group Black Lives Matter Grassroots says Shalomaya Bowers defrauded local BLM chapters by siphoning funds away from them and using the money to pay his own consulting business millions in fees. Bowers was hired by Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice.
Wait. I believe I said that in a prior BLM podcast video that I made where I talked about Black Lives Matter. I believe I talked about them twice, if not 3 times now. I believe in one of those videos, I stated in one of those videos that Patrice Cullors paid a outside consulting firm a great amount of money, and I forgot the goddamn amount that she paid him. So oh shit, this is the person. Because I remember I couldn't say the person's name. I remember I was having a hard time saying the person's name. And this is the very person that they're fucking talking about right now. This is crazy.
In 2020 to the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, which is a subsidiary of the Black Lives Matter organization. Now, Bowers denies the claims made against him in the lawsuit. News Nation reached out to Black Lives Matter Global Fund Network. Their attorney said in part the allegations in the September 1, 2020 complaint filed by Melania Abdullah and B.L.M. Grassroots that Shalomaya Bowers and Bowers Consulting Firm siphoned more than $10 million of donors' money from Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation is completely false. Neither Melania Abdullah or BLM Grassroots blatantly and intentionally lied with this allegation in their order to garner salacious news headlines, or they simply failed to do their due diligence before making such a wild and unfounded accusation. Either is simply unacceptable. Now, in the lawsuit, the 26 chapters are asking for damages and restitution. They want their money back, Adrian, and then some.
All right, Nick, what a story, and obviously trending a lot online. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Go to
Now, that was a bombshell that I just figured out. So a few days ago, this is from the LA Times. A few days ago, the Venerable Pew Research Center released a report summing up the opinions of Black Americans, specifically our thoughts about racial inequalities in the prospects of systematic social change. It found, among other things, that 4 in 10 of us believe Black Lives Matter has done the most to help Black people in recent years. I want them to name those as well. Just 17% named the NAACP, an additional 13% chose Black churches. Just 6% picked the Congressional Black Caucus, and a mere 3% pointed to the National Urban League. In fact, across all of the demographic subgroups, Pew surveyed the highly educated and the less educated, the rich and poor, the left-leaning and right-leaning, and the registered and unregistered to vote. Black Lives Matter was their top choice. This, of course, was before the implosion. On Thursday, activists from the 26 official chapters of Black Lives Matter sued their sister nonprofit Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, alleging mismanagement, self-dealing, and general financial malfeasance. The lawsuit, filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court, specified names. And this is your guy right here. Black Lives Matter Grassroots alleged that he was a middleman turned usurper who refused to aid by transition plans to wind down the foundation and transfer its power back to the activists. Instead, they alleged he went rogue and helped steal more than $10 million in donations, while Black Lives Matter leaders and movement workers were on the street risking their lives. The lawsuit claims Mr. Bowser's remains in his cozy office, devising a scheme of fraud and misrepresentation to break the implied in fact contract between donors and Black Lives Matter. In a statement, Bowser's and the rest of the three board called the accusations slanderous and devoid of reality. We should be focused on the work of liberation and Black joy, they wrote. Instead, we face yet again another round of struggle for control of one organization. This time by who say they love Black people and center abolitionist values, but whose actions are furthest from movement principles of courageous conversations, reconciliation, and finding pathways for peace. For many people, surely some of the 3,912 Black people surveyed by Pew, this family few probably comes as something as a surprise. But the truth is that this has been brewing for months, years even. Let me break it down for you. When Patrisse Cullors stepped down as executive director of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation in 2001, she did so under a cloud of controversy, and it prompted a pivotal change of the guard at the nonprofit. Most people think that Black Lives Matter as a decentralized movement against police brutality and racial justice, and it is in many ways shepherded into existence by Cullors, who lives in Los Angeles, and fellow Californians Alicia Garza and Ayo Tameti. I guess that's how you say her name. She got a weird ass last name. But BLM is also a nonprofit foundation registered with the Internal Revenue Service, but they owe taxes. This legal entity receives donations and distributes the money to activists working in the BLM grassroots official chapters, of which LA is the first. There also are dozens of unofficial chapters that aren't connected to the foundation, but round out the broader BLM movement. That's just a little caveat. It was only after George Floyd was murdered by Minneapolis police, launching a racial reckoning that pulled millions of Americans into the streets, that it became clear that Black Lives Matter, the foundation, was growing too big too quickly. Cullors was ill prepared for the movement. She later admitted the foundation didn't have the staffing or the infrastructure to deal with the flood of $90 million in donations it received in 2020 And once it became clear how much BLM had raised, it also raised eyebrows. It's like, no. Let me bring him down a little bit. Prompted a backlash with black activists demanding transparency. They wanted to know what had happened to the money and why more of it hadn't gone to its chapters and the families of these slain by police. Exactly. That's exactly what the hell I said the last time I talked about these motherfuckers. Why isn't it that? And I even said that Tamir Rice's mom said, if you're gonna keep using my son's name, I at least with my foundation would like a donation, and they didn't. Also, I believe Michael Brown's dad, he has a foundation in was it East St. Louis? He said the same thing. If you're going to use my son's name, at least give us some sort of donation to help our foundation out. But do you think they did so? No, they did not. So, what a lot of people are fucking asking about when it comes to this whole them getting $90 million and all of this, where, like, they just want to know one question.
Give me your fucking money!
That's what they're asking. Let's see. Where was I at? Conversations that have been happening quietly about how BLM should be structured and about who should be prioritized for donations began to get louder and angrier. Colors repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, but she bought houses. But reports that the foundation had paid $6 million for a property in Studio City didn't help. It did not. Meanwhile, activists with the chapters of BLM Grassroots, this would be this organization here, Black Lives Matter Grassroots, led by Black Lives Matter LA founder Melina Abdullah, started holding news conferences. Out came complaints that the foundation under Bowser's had unfairly fundraised off the activists' work while also locking them out of Black Lives Matter social media accounts and excluding them from key decision making. The overall message was clear. BLM Grassroots is the real Black Lives Matter, made up of the people on the ground doing the work in communities, and the BLM Global Network Foundation, controlled by consultants, isn't. So I'm surprised that this escalated into a very public lawsuit. In addition to damages, the chapters are seeking a restraining order to block the foundation from using Black Lives Matter's main social media account and website. Abdullah called the decision to go public with the dispute a very difficult and painful one. We know that while we can go, well, it's the Global Network Foundation. The world only understands Black Lives Matter, she told me. We know that this hurts the reputation of Black Lives Matter. Abdullah said BLM Grassroots had tried settling things quietly, requesting private meetings with the foundation and sending letters to Bowser's. It just didn't work, she insisted. Perhaps a lawsuit was ultimately necessary, if only for the sake of transparency. Which people, listen up, do you know this whole thing with with Elon Musk. Elon Musk tried to buy Twitter. The one thing he wanted to know was, I want to know the bot situation, how many is there, and who's controlling it, if there is any. And two, what was the other thing he wanted to know? Oh, he wanted them to be more transparent with the workings of the company. So when he bought it, it could be a smooth transition to where when he moves into power, he knows all the knowledge that he needs to know, so he can appoint the people that he needs to appoint. And then when that happens, he can, just go about business as usual. But Twitter didn't want to give up that information. They basically told him, well, everything that we're telling you is the truth. But it was when he announced that he wanted to buy, and I think he had like more shares of the company than the shareholders did, so he wanted to buy the company and make it private. Something happened overnight that wasn't explained. Everybody, and let's put this in like a political sense, everybody who was on the left, basically meaning that they were liberal, people who are liberal, they lost thousands upon thousands of subscribers. And then people on the right, which are the conservatives, they gained thousands upon thousands followers. Overnight this happened, y'all. Overnight. So basically Elon Musk was only asking for transparency for the company, so when he buys it, it's a smooth transition. This is what this is sounding like. And instead of you actually telling me, and I'm putting myself in the shoes of Abdullah here, by me quietly coming to you saying, yo, like, we know y'all got the money. We need umpteenth amount of money to because we need supplies for this. We're planning this thing that we need to do here, and blah 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 blah. And he basically wasn't answering them. So it's like, if we're trying to do this respectfully and as calmly as we can, but you're giving us no reason, or you're not giving us an option of being able to do this quietly. So this is where the lawsuit comes in, and this is where in the suit, in the case, this is when they're gonna have to do that. Not only will we know where the 90 million went, we'll also know if any of this shit was divvied out to Patrice Cullors, to what's the other woman's name? Temeti and the other girl. So we'll know all of that information too. Let me get that girl's name. We'll know if Garza, Temeti, or Cullors took any of that money. We'll know that in this case, because in a way it's tied to that. So y'all stay up on game, and I'll make sure I stay up on game when it comes to this, and I'll report it to y'all. The public deserves to know the truth if there has been financial malfeasance, particularly anything close to what's described in the lawsuit. Besides, questions have been circling for far too long, first about Cullors and now about Bowser's and Abdullah. Look, they basically just said what the hell I just said. So, we'll know in due time. BLM Grassroots claims that Bowser's had been self-dealing, awarding grants to his consulting firm and charging the foundation exorbitant fees. The lawsuit demands that they return the people's funds and stop impersonating Black Lives Matter attorney Walter Mosley said in a statement, the foundation's board of directors denied the claims and instead accused Abdullah of a similar scheme, citing a letter from unnamed Black Lives Matter grassroots members echoing the accusation. Abdullah denied any wrongdoing. I suspect there probably will be more hits. She told. This is messy and ugly stuff. Said that this is the cost of transparency. Abdullah says that BLM is a really beautiful and powerful movement that has just fallen into the wrong hands. We're about to find out whether that's true. But there will be no real winner in this family feud. But I fear Black Lives Matter, the movement, will never matter as much as it once did. Hey, man. Look, check this out. We will know in due time where that money went. As I tell you now, all of this shit is connected. All of it is connected. And I tell you how in just a second. I'll tell you how this is all connected. Because if one person asked Colors in them, hey yo, where that 90 million went? And she has no sort of explanation, knowing that her foundation is a 501c3 and 501c4, which also has a 990 attached to it, which makes them a non-profit organization. Do you know what that means? That means if I call BLM right now and say, hey, yo, how much money did y'all spend back in 2020, after the whole Summer of Love deal? Like, what did you guys do with that money during the fourth quarter or whatever? I need to know this because I'm writing a book about the goodness of Black Lives Matter. And it's a section in my book that has a little part in there where it talks about this. I need to know the exact number so I'm not lying when this book comes out. They have to tell me. Not only do I have to send the pages over to them to show them this is the actual book I'm writing, this is what it's called, here's the pages of the book, right? I give them like a little like thing about it, like this is what the book is about. They then have to tell me. They have to show transparency at all times. That's what a foundation, a nonprofit organization has to do. I spoke on this when it came to it's a website, I believe, that tracks nonprofit organizations' gains monetarily. That website could not pinpoint at all if Black Lives Matter has gained or has lost any money or has spent any of that money. They couldn't track it. And then Black Lives Matter has a tax dispute with the IRS because they failed to file their 2020 and their 2021 tax forms. Basically letting the IRS know how much money they gained in both years. So by them not sharing that with the IRS and them not sharing that information with this Abdullah person, something's afoot. And something's about to be afoot in their ass in just a second, because for the simple fact that they're not at all coming out with any information, even to the public. That's crazy. When the public can't even ask you that shit. Hey, man. Hey, man, that's out my hands, cuz she's saying that Black Lives Matter once was a beautiful movement, and will Black Lives Matter as much as it used to? Black Lives Matter stopped being useful. Now check this out. Black Lives Matter stopped being useful after George Floyd's death, because you got to remember, Black Lives Matter resurged or resurfaced back in 2020. Like that was the second time that we heard them like come out after the initial time when Mike Brown was killed. Now, if y'all don't see a problem with that, then I don't know what to tell y'all. Because personally, and this is how I feel, by them doing testing. All right. So, by them okay, I don't know what happened. Like I shut down one of my windows and the shit went haywire. So, I don't know what the hell's going on. So anyway, what was I saying? Let me go back. Okay. So, Black Lives Matter stopped being useful after George Floyd's murder. And then us learning in 2020 that they gained from donations from corporations and private businesses and private citizens, that they gained $90 million. Because y'all gotta remember, when you shout Black Lives Matter in the fucking streets, when you're protesting, right? You have to remember this. That is an organization that you are screaming out. Once Patrisse Cullors signed those papers to get the 501c3, the 501c4, and the 990, the tax form, that's when Black Lives Matter stopped being a grassroots street level organization to a corporation. So you got to remember what the fuck you're saying when you're out in the streets. Understand what you're saying at all times. All right? That's all I'm saying. So, to end this with a few words about the topics tonight. With this whole Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears thing, we don't know where and how far it's going to go, but I do know this. Tiffany Haddish is calling it a shakedown, and Ari Spears is calling this a shakedown. And I'll add this to it. Tiffany Haddish's good friend Jason Lee on Twitter had stated sometime this week that he will reveal the names of both John and Jane Doe. I don't feel as though he should do it for John Doe because John Doe is a minor. And if he does that, I don't know what legal ramifications he's going to face by doing that. So I suggest, Jason, if you're watching, you're probably not, and no, I'm not interested. Pause. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. Please don't do that. Because that'll make not only you, but your company, Hollywood Unlocked, look bad. Do not do that. Please don't do that. So yeah, we'll see where that goes with this whole Tiffany Haddish, Ari Spears debacle. Secondly, with this whole Black Lives Matter thing, I hope this shit gets shown on television, because if what I said was true in my other two videos, that the transparency thing needs to be something that is a priority for these people, not a necessity. It needs to be a priority for them to tell the public how much money BLM has, spends, and donates to other organizations. We need to know this information, because not only will it instill trust back to the organization, but then when people shout Black Lives Matter in the streets, it'll make them feel better, because they know that they have an organization, a global network foundation behind them. So y'all should have just did this shit when it was asked of you, instead of being pulled out of you in court. So hope you guys learned your lesson, because this shit don't look good for y'all either. So people, what I want to do, I want to sit here and I want to give you guys a great farewell. Before I do that, let's get into some promotions. So people, every Friday I do a game stream every Friday at 6:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can view me here on YouTube as well as Twitch. Yeah, just come to the Marcus Speaks channel. You'll see me streaming here, or go to the Marcus Speaks Play channel. You can see me there. You can go to my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Marcus Speaks Productions. You can see me there as well. Just know that every time I go live and I broadcast, you're in for a treat, all right? Because I'm giving you guys all the facts, all the information when it comes to every article that I'm reading to y'all, and I'm also giving you my peace of mind when I do read these articles, and you get a little extra, little sweet, little icing on the top when it comes to me showing you the videos that I show you guys. Help me further what the hell I'm trying to tell you guys. So, you can view me every Friday and Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be here right here on this channel as well as other places. But if you're watching this here podcast, I'm always here on this channel doing this, because anywhere else, I don't know. I haven't yet put it anywhere else. You can view it here on YouTube. Just follow me on my social medias. You'll know what the topic is every show. So just follow me on social media. The links are in the description box below. Go and have at it, all right? Like I said earlier, I have 2 YouTube channels. Please go and subscribe to both. The links are in the description box below, all right? Also, Fridays, like I said, I stream live on Twitch at Marcus Speaks Productions. Please go and subscribe to me over there. And if you ever want to come up and talk to me, if you like seeing what you're watching, and you want to come up and talk to me about anything, even if I'm wrong, you can come up and talk to me. Please hit that link that's in the live chat. It's sitting right there. There's 3 rules. The 3 rules are: you must be on camera, rule number 2 is if you don't want to be on camera, you still have to be on camera here on the backstage. There's a private chat back here. Please type your name. And if you do or if you don't want to be on camera, and I'll make sure that I'll give you what you want. And thirdly, please silence all background noise because I don't want to hear anything that's going on in your house or in your life. All right? And lastly, if you could, like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and share this to your respective social medias, all right? I would gladly appreciate that if you can get people to come and view this podcast because I feel as though I got a good podcast here on this platform, all right? And before I go, people, please focus on getting the money. You deserve it. Please get to the money, make the moves that you have to make with it, and do what you got to do. Make sure drink more water, all right, for health benefits, all right? Drink more water. Also for mental stability, mind your own damn business, all right? It helps you out in the long run. And if you want to be just like me, make sure you do your own research. I've been your host, Marcus. I'm out of here. I'm going to enjoy this lovely dinner that I prepared myself for coming on here. So I will check you guys out next week, and I thank you guys for watching. Peace out.